Italy is facing a quiet but serious emergency. The country that gave us art, history and culture is now struggling with one of Europe's worst collapses. Births are at record lows, villages are emptying, and the young are leaving in droves. Today, we uncover the hidden struggles shaping Italy and ask, can this decline be stopped before it's too late?
Italians are now looking for an unprecedented political compromise.
Nothing is certainly for the future, and we are very afraid for the future.
But many agree on one thing. In the last few decades, governments have failed to build a strategy to prevent Italy from falling further.
The problem in Italy isn't on the streets, rather in the number of babies being born. In 2024, only about 370,000 babies came into the world. That's the lowest since Italy became a nation over 160 years ago. Even more, this was the 16th year in a row with fewer births than before. Compared to 2008, births have dropped by nearly 36%. To keep a population steady, every woman needs to have about 2 children. In Italy today, the number is only 1.18. That means families are far too small to replace the older generation. At the same time, deaths are higher than births. In 2024, Italy recorded 281,000 more deaths than births. The country's population fell to just under 59 million. Over the past decade, nearly 1.9 million people have disappeared from the count. Meanwhile, on the other end, people are also living longer. Life expectancy is now about 83 years, one of the highest in the world. But this makes Italy one of the oldest countries on Earth. The average age is close to 49. Almost 1 in 4 Italians is now over 65. This change brings big problems. In 2005, people of working age made up 66% of the country. In 2024, that dropped to just 63%. That means fewer workers now carry the heavy cost of pensions and healthcare for more retirees. According to experts, pensions already take up more than 15% of the economy and could rise even higher in the coming years. However, small towns tell the saddest story. In 2023 alone, 358 villages reported 0 births. Schools close, families move away, and old classrooms turn into care centers for the elderly. Without children, these places slowly fade. If you think this demographic collapse is shocking, hit the like button. It really helps more people discover stories like this. With fewer children being born and more people growing older, Italy's towns and cities need the energy of the young more than ever. But instead of staying, many of them are packing their bags and heading abroad. Every year, thousands of young Italians pack their bags and move abroad. In 2024 alone, nearly 156,000 people left. That's the highest level in 25 years and a huge 36% jump from the year before. Most of them were between 25 and 35 years old. Many had college degrees. Doctors, engineers, programmers, the very people Italy needs most, are choosing to leave. This problem is not new, but it's getting worse. In just 1 year, Italy lost 21,000 graduates. They moved to countries like Germany, France, and the Netherlands, where jobs pay better and careers grow faster. Once they go, very few ever come back. That means Italy spends money to educate them, but another country benefits from their skills. The cost is massive. Between 2011 and 2023, this brain drain cost Italy about 134 billion euros, more than 10 billion euros every year. The Bank of Italy warns that if this trend continues, the economy could shrink by 11% by 2040. That would mean fewer workers, fewer businesses, and less money for schools, hospitals, and pensions. With fewer young people working, the system may break. The crisis looks different across the country. In the north, where companies like Ferrari and Armani are based, industries survive and unemployment is lower. But in the south, youth joblessness reaches up to 40%. In some towns in Sicily and Calabria, schools are closing because there are no children and villages are half empty. For any young Italians, the choice feels simple: leave or stay and face no future. And without its young talent, Italy faces a hard question: who will build its future? These numbers tell us a lot, but they're the same reasons that push young people away every year: stagnation, rising debt, and slow growth. Italy is Europe's third biggest economy, but today it feels stuck. The country's growth is moving at a snail's pace. In 2025, the economy is expected to grow only 0.7%, and in 2026, maybe 0.9%. That's tiny compared to the 1980s and 1990s, when Italy grew around 2% every year. Even after the 2008 financial crisis, other countries managed to recover, but Italy barely moved. The slowdown isn't new. Over the last 2 years, Italy's economy has only grown about 0.7% yearly. In fact, in mid-2025, it even shrank by 0.1%. Italy's PMI, a number that shows if the economy is growing, stood at 51.7 in August 2025. Anything above 50 means growth, but this number is barely above the line. Debt is the biggest weight holding Italy down. Public debt stands at around 135% of the economy, one of the highest in Europe. By 2026, it could rise close to 138%. To put that in perspective, this is higher than Greece before its crisis in 2010. Servicing that debt costs billions every year, leaving less money for hospitals, schools, and new jobs. Even though the government is trying to cut its budget deficit from 3.4% in 2024 to 2.9% in 2026, the debt mountain keeps getting bigger. And if you're still watching, don't forget to subscribe. We've got some powerful investigations coming up. Another challenge is the structure of Italian businesses. Most companies are very small, often with only 3 or 4 workers. Small firms find it hard to scale up, compete with giants in Germany or China, or spend on innovation. On top of that, a shadow economy makes up about 12% of the system. This means money flows outside official taxes, from street vendors skipping receipts to mafia networks using shell companies. Moreover, Italy has real work to do when it comes to digital skills and innovation. In 2023, only 45.8% of Italians aged 16 to 74 had basic digital skills. That's well below the EU average of 55.5%, and even farther from the goal of 80% by 2030. In the South, it drops to 36.1%. Businesses are feeling the gap too. Just 8% of Italian firms used artificial intelligence in 2024. That's well behind Germany's 20%. Many small and medium companies, SMEs, reached a basic digital level, about 70%, but only 8.2% of all businesses adopted AI solutions. The country lags in digital public services. Only 40% of internet users access them, while the EU average is 65%. Italy's innovation performance is also behind. On EU charts, Italy scores below average in human resources and framework conditions. Areas like research attractiveness rank better, but investments by firms for R&D fall short. So, behind the beauty of Rome and Milan, there is slow growth, heavy debt, fewer young workers, and a system that feels stuck. Some already call it the sick man of Europe. Fixing the economy is one challenge, but it's not the only one. Because while Italy tries to balance its books, it also has to deal with weak infrastructure, climate change, and a growing water crisis. Every year, about 42% of Italy's clean drinking water leaks out of old pipes. In 2022 alone, that was over 3.4 billion cubic meters lost, enough water to serve 43 million people for a whole year. To compare, France loses about 20% of its water, and Germany loses less than 7%. Italy has the worst record among large European countries. The situation is even worse in the south. In places like Sicily and Sardinia, more than 50% of the water disappears. In the Sicilian town of Racalmuto, families say water flows only a few hours every 12 or 13 days. So people buy large storage tanks, some costing over 1,500 euros, or they pay for private trucks, up to 120 euros per load. Why does this happen? The pipes are simply too old. Many were built 30 to 50 years ago and have never been replaced. Local utilities often don't have enough money to fix them. Political delays and corruption make repairs even slower. At the same time, Italians use more water than most Europeans, about 25% above the EU average. And the country struggles to reuse water. Right now, only 4% of wastewater is recycled, while the European average is 17%. Experts say Italy could save 9 billion cubic meters each year through reuse. That's enough water for 27 million people. On top of weak infrastructure, climate change makes things worse. Italy has faced record-breaking heat waves in 2022, 2023, and 2025, killing hundreds of people and drying up rivers like the Po. That river alone supports a third of Italy's farming. Farmers in the north reported crop losses of up to 30% during severe droughts. In 2022, a drought caused about 6 billion euros in damage, and hydroelectric power, normally 15% of Italy's electricity, fell by almost 40%. Rainfall is also dropping. In 2022, Italy received 24% less rain, and overall water availability dropped by more than 50% compared to past averages. Meanwhile, 42% of towns still lack proper wastewater treatment, and fines for this problem have already cost Italy over 700 million euros. The crisis affects daily life too. Schools close bathrooms, hospitals ration water, restaurants and hotels key to Italy's tourism are forced to limit service. Some regions even call in the army to deliver water to villages. Italy has plenty of water on paper, but with crumbling pipes, fewer rains, and little reuse, much of it vanishes before reaching homes. And yet, this isn't the end of the tale. All these numbers show one thing: the pressure is not coming from just one problem, but from many working together. Unless bold reforms address demographics, infrastructure, and skills, Italy could slide into long-term decline, losing both global influence and internal stability. Italy is standing at a crossroads, but history shows this nation has always found a way to rise again. What do you think? Will Italy find a way out of this crisis? Or is the decline already unstoppable? Share your thoughts in the comments below.